It's about Graham time. We hop on another episode. I'm your host, Christian Graham.
And Stephanie Graham.
What's going on, baby?
Nothing much. Actually, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to actually write it down to know what has happened.
Okay.
Our last episode was June 14th.
Oh, my goodness. What's that, 3 months?
It's September 25th.
So
no.
Yeah, September 25th.
Is it the 25th?
We're recording this September 25th.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Was baby's birthday? Or 4 months yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Noah's 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got to see her one time, right? Or no? I don't remember.
We posted her on Smackin'.
Yeah.
And she's on my stories.
I don't think we ever put her on the June 14th pod, though. No?
No, but she was in the room.
She was here, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just offset sleeping.
Yeah. No, but we had her appointment two days ago, and apparently she is the size of a 6-month-old.
Yeah. Can you stop moving so much? I'm feeling like I'm seasick right now.
Sorry.
What's going on?
I'm sorry.
How y'all feeling, listeners, viewers? Huh? What's going on over here? Why are you so nervous too?
No, it's because you're asking me to sit still. Like in all of our episodes, I've always just moved. It just helps me to stay on track. But now I have no fidget toy or anything.
Yeah, now you're just flexing all your new nails because you finally got nails going on. What's going on here?
I hate wearing acrylics. Every time I buy them or I get them done, like after the event that I need them for, I just want them off. But we spent so much money on them that I have to like write it out.
Oh, yeah.
To get my money's worth.
Exactly.
So do enough of those.
Yeah.
Do enough of like, hey,
yeah.
maybe a little like face
do
touch.
that with the MK Lab mug. Just hold it up to the camera real quick.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
And
just kind of ASMR it.
But yeah, I don't really like having long nails in general because I work with my hands. I can't even type. Have you seen me type on the laptop?
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, it's like you're typing with your toes.
That's rude. That's so rude. But you ain't wrong. But yeah. So let me just kind of go down the list. We had baby Noah.
Okay.
She's 4 months as of yesterday.
95th percentile in weight, 75th percentile in height, and 65th percentile in head size.
So she's a big baby.
She is a big baby. She's growing at a 6-month progression, and she is just our rock star. And
and we're kind of I told you this yesterday, but I don't think any other parent aside from us would categorize or describe their children as dense like we do. We're like, our children are solid. They are dense.
Yeah, we're dense and solid.
Yeah.
I think we were getting coffee at John's, and we were talking with Diego. Shout out Diego from John's. Amazing person over there. And he was just like, oh, how was the head size and what was the weight? And then we were like, oh yeah, 75th percentile in weight, 65th percentile in head size. And he was like, oh, dense. And we were just like, yeah, just like us, short and stocky.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't mean that in any negative way or so, it's not, to me, it's like a compliment. I'm like, you're strong, you're sturdy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so I don't mind passing around. I'm like, do some bicep curls,
Yeah. I enjoy, when we're playing now. So she's starting to develop her laugh a little bit, like slowly but surely. I'm one of the few that can make her laugh, of course. And, one of the things that really got to her was like, I was just like hovering over her and she was laying down on the floor. And I was like, you're Samoan, Chamorro, Black, and Filipina. And then she was just like busting out laughing. And, it's just that gentle reminder that like, paying homage to our Samoan and Chamorro roots, little short, stocky, people. Mainly the Chamorros, the Samoans, they can be pretty tall. Yeah, but we short, stocky people. And I think
Yeah.
about that often when I look at her. That's why I start with Samoan, Jamoru,
Yeah, she loves when you do that.
Yeah.
When I do it, she's like she doesn't really react.
How is she?
But if I do something else, like she has the biggest smile, but she doesn't really talk to me.
Yeah.
She's just always smiling, which I love. Aside from her, Ali and Oli are back in school, which is great. Summer is over. It's like been the shortest summer. It's only been like 2 months of summer.
Yeah, we hit that small heat wave for a little bit. It was like 2 weeks of that or 3 weeks of that. And it was just like 85. We hit like triple digits one time. And yeah, it was kind of rough, but thankfully we have like air conditioning everywhere we go.
We have the privilege and luxury of having AC.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it was fine for us.
I
don't know why. Wait, hold on, pause. Why did we go to EJ and Jules' house in the 100-degree? Like, it was literally the hottest day, literally the hottest day of that week. And it was just a football Sunday or something. And we watched like part of the Chargers game or something like that, but they made like bomb barbecue. And so like for some reason they like didn't want to just pull up to the pad and soak in all the AC while we barbecue. We chose to go to the mobile window air conditioning house. Like you got to put the little board in between the window, to let the AC in. And yeah, we were just dying over there. But
yeah, because we're so spoiled in that way.
Yeah.
So I'll be at home and I'm wearing jackets. I'm wearing a blanket. I'm like, oh, it's a little chilly.
Yeah.
And I'm so removed from reality in that way that I'll have a conversation with somebody and I'll say like, man, this summer wasn't that bad. Right. And they're looking at me like, this girl is crazy.
Right.
Because it was really hot. However, for a lot of those days, I was at dance practice, and it was just so like we didn't have the energy. Like us and all the dancers would be questioned by like Serona or Auntie Kiki or Shine, like, why aren't you guys like putting your energy into this? And we're just like sitting there, like just dripping in sweat.
Yeah,
and they're asking us these questions like, you guys need to put more life into it. And it's just so hot in like the rooms and at the rec in the church like hall. Oh my gosh. But nonetheless, it was a great experience.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit more about your experience with PIFA. All of the highs, all of the lows. You just finished up like 3 days ago now or 2 days ago now. Yeah.
Does today count?
Huh?
Does today count?
2 days ago.
Okay, 2 days. So Sunday, we performed on Sunday.
We performed on Sunday.
We closed out the show.
Talk to me about the overall experience with everything from your husband giving you just the most beaming stares for leaving him with 3 children for 5 days of practice a week.
Yeah. So I think we started early August or so. It was difficult at first because I had not been dancing for 13 years. So that my last time I was dancing, or the last year I danced was 2011. And prior to that was like 2005 or 2004. So it was really stretched out and I don't remember much. But I was really excited too because I've been around so many Chamorros lately. Not lately. For the past like 5 years or so. And it's not like that's bad or anything, but I miss a piece of me. I miss being around my peoples, So it was really nice. And I told you before that I would only dance for Taopou Samoa or for Auntie Kiki because she really presses in on roots and education.
Right.
And also glorifying God through all of it. And so that's why I'd only dance for her, as opposed to the other great groups out there. So it was really nostalgic. And I don't know why, but I almost felt kind of happy being yelled at. I don't know if there's some trauma in there, but being yelled at to like dance a certain way or to not like do certain movements.
Yeah.
But on Sunday, the day of our performance, I actually like a lot of the stuff that I was taught to be like disciplined in. Like you're not when you say you're not supposed to bounce. I had so much energy and nervousness and excitement that like I did bounce. And when I saw the videos, I was like, oh, I just hear Auntie Kiki in my head. Like, I told you.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah. So leading up to to September is when we started doing practices, I believe like Monday, and then I was down for Tuesday for Leah, and then Thursday, then like the last 2 weeks was Friday, and then Saturday, and they would go for like 3 to 4 hours. But during the weekdays, because I'm going down south it is just the traffic just sucks. And it would be so draining because you're focusing on cars and
right.
And so
not trying to hit the next car.
And by the time I got to practice, I'm just drained. And I would carpool with Tia. So I'd go to her house and then we'd go down south. And so it was tough. It was tough being in that. And I would try to do as much as I could to avoid it. And that would be leaving, our house at like 3:30. And that would save me 30 minutes of not being in traffic. But tell me, how is that for you? Because I was the one leaving you with all the kids.
Yeah, but it made you feel better for practice and gave you more energy. And yeah, it was definitely like in my head at some point, I was like, why did this woman really decide of all years to pick up the dancing once again? Like we've been together 8 years, which we actually missed celebrating our 8-year anniversary. This is just our dating anniversary, like the first time we went on our date. But we have the same tradition, for the past 7 years. And on this 8th year, we didn't realize, both of us didn't realize that, because of work and because of dance practice that we had actually missed, until we had a meeting with our sister Tremaine. And, she brought up like, oh, happy anniversary. And then we were like, oh, yeah, that was. We
were talking to her like mid conversation, and we're like, oh yeah, so like we've been together for this amount of years. You mentioned the date. We were like, oh, September 10th, and she like it was September 13th by that point,
right?
And she's just like, oh yeah, congratulations by the way, and we just like looked at each other, and we're like, we literally stopped, and we like,
yeah, yeah, for the very reason of like. Why we left corporate in the first place was because I had to work like OT, didn't get paid for it on our anniversary, which was like our, I think 2-year anniversary or 3-year anniversary at that point, 2-year anniversary. Yeah. And, we like, it just caused such a big burnout. And then here we were like at our 8-year mark, we did end up celebrating with the same tradition over that weekend. That we realized after we had realized, thank you, Tremaine, for bringing that to our attention, that we need to be celebrating each other in that way. But, it was one of those seasons, over these past couple months that's been like an extra grace required type of season where, I'm like, why did she choose to set this all up at this exact time, like kids are back in school, which is common every single PIFA season, but we also just had a newborn that's at the time of starting practice was only 2 months, and it was just like I agreed to it because I was like, oh yeah, it's the 30th PIFA, it's Dancing for Auntie Kiki, which we love so much. And she's possibility, like rumors were going around of like her possibly retiring. She just hit her lifetime achievement award and stuff like that. So it's like, and bigger news to come on all of what Taopou Samoa, is doing in the industry right now, with some, big names out there. But like it was just the right time when we thought it was the right time. And then, when we realized like how much time you were starting to put towards it, because practices went from like 2 days a week to 5 days a week because of not being able to practice for a whole month. It was just like a lot. And, thankfully, shout out to God, shout out to, our council with Caesar and Josie, and just me having a great relationship with God, just being able to like really see past all of that frustration of like not being able to have my wife, and frustration at like feeling like priorities were shifted, in a different direction. But thank God that you and Aaliyah got to share that stage for the 30th PIFA, and being able to just celebrate, you guys and your culture that you're able to, really showcase to like the world essentially, right? Because it was live streaming. And so I'm just like, at the end of it, right, it's all worth it, right? Like it was hard. It was a grind for you, for us, and our marriage and the kids, and even getting them home for like school, right?
Oh,
like that
yeah.
was like a whole nother thing, because
Yeah.
practices weren't ending till like 10 o'clock or almost midnight towards the very end. And so, yeah, it was definitely a grind. But yeah, thankful for, God, our wise counsel, and our supporters with like Auntie Jules and my mom, to back me,
Yeah.
when they could. Not every time could they, but I'm grateful for the times that they could. And like right after PIFA's over, the very next day I get sick.
Yeah.
And so like I'm grateful that like at least my body held up until that point, and now I'm feeling back to normal. It was just like one of those sinus colds, couple days. But yeah, here we are, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I got to watch you guys. I'm grateful that we put up with it all, to really see all of that. Like, God was just like moving through you guys and through Taopou Samoa as a whole, and just creating that harmony and that unification and that one Samoa. It was just beautiful to see.
Yeah. I loved it. And what was I gonna say? Oh, I was delivering on a promise. So last year when Leah was, after she performed, it was like me, my mom, you, Tia, we're like, we said it. We said,
yeah,
you're gonna do next year's 30th, And I said, oh yeah, maybe, after I have this baby and whatnot and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And so I really wasn't going to, but Aaliyah wanted me to as well. And I said I was. So I wanted to make sure I delivered on that word. And during our hardship, the strains that we faced, because I was going to practice just like feeling guilty, going to practice, feeling like I need to quit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though it was only 2 months, it took so much of the day. Because again, I'm leaving from 3:30 or 4 to 10. Or
Mm-hmm.
no, it would end at 9:30 or 10. I would get home after dropping off Tia. I'd get home around 11 or 10:30 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, either if you're not sleeping, you and I would talk a little bit, but I don't want to talk about work at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then there's the strain of like what you really probably want to say, but holding back.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of times where I just wanted to quit, but at a certain point, I was like, I can't. If I do, then everything all you guys sacrificed was really for nothing. It amounted to nothing. There's nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I have to keep pressing on because I have all these people who just really poured out love and rearranged their schedules just for me and Aaliyah to participate in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really like thankful, and just I have no words to really express the gratitude towards Auntie Jules, your mom, Willie, you, Oli, you know, Oli and Noah not getting mom time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was and my mom coming down from Ramona to go down south and just hang out and be with the kids because I didn't want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot.
But I made a lot of cool friends too. And
Yeah.
it was nice seeing a lot of friends that I hadn't seen for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who I met while dancing when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, shout out third, fourth, and fifth row, you know, because I was on the far right and I was in the third row, except for one song, but I was in third row I was in the second row, and then I got moved to the third row, and then that's where I stayed for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I just like loved who I was with, and we would laugh, and it was just really nice to have that to end my day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, it was all worth it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm grateful that, you know, the enemy doesn't have power or control or jurisdiction over us and our marriage, you know, because the enemy's going to want to come in and create division, you know, when something godly, something beautiful, you know, something majestic and wonderful is going to come from it, you know. And so, yeah, and that's what he tries to do. You know, that's what he tried to do. And, you know, you just you have to know that your victory is in Christ, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And without that, like, if I didn't have the relationship that I had with God, man, like, I don't know how people do it without, right? Especially like just the position that we're in, because not only did we have the newborn, but we also started a new business, which we haven't even talked about yet, you know. And then we have like all of these clients, and like God's opening all these other doors, you know. And we've just kind of been putting things on what felt like the back burner, but we're still meeting our deliverables. And it just felt like, for me, it was difficult to like get into the next thing and like really start moving, because I'm like stay-at-home dad at this point.
Your stay-at-home dad and your partner is on a whole nother like priority.
Right.
Right. So a lot of my energy not only was towards the dance practices, but it was also me practicing at home.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And me trying to get things right in my head. And so that took out a couple hours. And then because I would be so tired, I would wake up late. I'd wake up at like 8, 9, maybe 10 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so really had this small window of me to do anything, but then don't forget the bathrooms, and don't forget I'm hungry, you know? And so all of these things, you really got no work out of me for the past month, really, when it started getting really busy.
Yeah.
And we're coming down the pipeline. I wasn't really concerned of these things, or that I was, but it wasn't the top priority. as long as I delivered it, so say like the proposal or the slide deck, like as long as it was delivered by the time, then I'm like, I did my job. But that's no way to work. That's no way, there's no discipline in that. There's no way to work. And I know that. But I was like, well, like what could I do? Like this is where I'm at right now. And it really forced your hand because, this is your partner, right? This is your business partner, and your business partner is just like not in the business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things like, you're my helpmate, you're my business partner, but like you're my sister in Christ first and foremost, right? Like you're my sister in Christ, you're my wife, you're a daughter of the living God, And so it's reflecting on those moments where what was able to keep me grounded, keep me rooted, and keep me rooting for you, because it wasn't like, oh, let me just continue to drag my feet, and like be upset. It's like at some point it's just like, no, like I need to root for her too, and continue to encourage her to go through it. I think the difficult parts was when I was just getting a whole bunch of crap for any like little things because you were like so on edge at some points, and I'm like, there ain't no way. Like I'm over here pulling the team right now. I'm over here pulling the team. You can't be getting on me like this because I might snap, And there was those points when, we were able to have our adult conversations, and just let it go. I really enjoyed those moments when we were able to go to like La Jolla and just kind of like let it go. It was just, yeah, that's probably one of my new favorite spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice.
I mean, just so they all know, yeah, after like one of our fights or so, our disagreements, arguments, we were at the dinner table and I thought that's how we were going to end the night. And then you're like, you asked me on paper because I was talking to Oli. We were painting and you said like, are you going to come? And I'm like, are we bringing the girls? Yes. And we go. You ended up taking us to La Jolla. Or actually, no. It was like Baskin Robbins. Then it was to Minsook. And as soon as we had Minsook, I was like, oh, like, I know what's going down.
This was like a 2-hour detour.
It was so long. And then you ended up going to like Pavilion, not Vaughn's, but like
it's Vaughn's.
It's pretty much Vaughn's, but it's in La Jolla to go get some Angry Orchards. And then we go all the way to La Jolla. You were going to go to the shores, but once I pieced it together, I'm like, I don't want to go to the shores. And then
we went to the Cove.
Then we went to the Cove, and then we had our traditional anniversary dinner.
Yeah.
That we didn't get to have, and we just talked
that we didn't get to have
on the date that we didn't get to have it, but I really appreciated it because even prior to that, on another fight, we went to Harbor. What is it? Harbor Island? Yeah. And so I appreciated your effort and always trying to put our marriage first and always putting our marriage first when I wouldn't, because Friday nights from 7 to 9 would be our non-negotiable date night. And I got on to Christian about that, where I was so mad that I took it off the calendar when he missed, the first hour. And I'm like, that's not important. It's negotiable. But when it came down to when I'd have dance practices on Fridays, then I started to negotiate it because I'm like, I can't. I want to make sure that I make it on stage because I committed to this and I don't want everything to be in vain if I'm told I can't, But I still negotiated our date nights. And so you made it a point to still have those. So just a little insight on how great Christian is and how you've been, not been, but how you are.
Let me sip my coffee.
Yeah, so that's what's been going on.
Yeah.
We do have a new business. If you want to share that, if you don't, if you want to wait till we really establish it.
Oh, no, yeah. So it's, Marikaros Media. So God's been opening this door because the podcast studio has been just doing extremely well. We've been having a ton of renters, coming to utilize the space for a variety of reasons, to come and film their advertisement videos, film their reels, film their, TikTok videos. What is going on?
It's these nails, I swear.
Coming to film their podcast themselves, and so yeah, it's just been really great. But we were fortunate enough to like have so much demand that we were actually able to increase our prices. And so from that point, we've been attracting a lot of coaches, consultants, agencies, agency owners, doctors, lawyers, real estate agents, real estate brokers, MLOs, etc. And so we just were able to kind of like, God kind of pieced it together where like me and Steph, we've been working separate but equal. Like I'm great at the business side, Steph's great at the creative side, and then we kind of like work in our separate lanes. But then we found that like with MK Media, we're like really able to get cohesive with everything. And what we mean by that is like I'm able to utilize like a lot of the people in my network and the people that I'm able to be like attracted to, like coaches and consultants and agencies and just people of like high position and like greater net worth that are really looking to scale their brands and position in the marketplace. And so we are able to leverage those relationships now to drive like web design and funnels and automation for their coaching businesses. And shout out to Sam Beckliffe as well, my brother. I sit on his board for his nonprofit. We're just kind of forming this cohesive team and Mikey as well, and Tremaine, and just so many others, Frank, Jesse. We're working with a lot of people right now with this MK Media concept where we're just going to be able to kind of service these high ticket individuals and give them just extreme value to put the team behind them and to create an automation system to scale their brands. And Steph is, the creative chief creative officer for this company, and she's just been giving great creative direction. She's been executing on it, just helping build our own brands and really think more strategically and execute more strategically in everything that we do for all of our brands and all of our businesses. And so, yeah, MK Media has just been growing, and the MK Lab, like I said, has just been growing. We've been locking in just huge clientele, working with, multi-million-dollar companies now, and God has just been moving, in just complete favor and abundance, and why I say it's God and it's not, us and the universe. It's like, we really didn't have any intention of working with these kind of people. There was no intention, like a lot of the people that will, ride the wave of the universe, right, is like, it's a lot of attraction, right? Law of attraction, where what you put out, right, is what you attract. Well, we weren't even putting out for it, right? That's the difference. Like, we had no intention. Like, God's just like, here, take it, and we were like, oh, okay. And so here we are, you know, and things have just been moving in a different direction. And that's the thing, is like God is just continuing to create these different pivots where we never really even saw any footing in. We were just like, we're just being obedient and just being able to listen and discern and just continuing to, you know, utilize the gifts towards the specific assignment that God has for us, you know, during a given moment and season. And that's the secret sauce, y'all. Like, you know, if you want your marriage to work, if you want, you know, favor to work in your business, in your job, in your kids, in your schooling, whatever it may be, you know, it's just seeking first the kingdom and his righteousness and allowing all these other things to just happen. You know, God's just going to continue to open these doors, and if he's going to do it for us, if he's going to do it for others, he's going to do it again, you know, for you too. And so, yeah, super grateful, super grateful for these new opportunities. We just sent out an invoice today that, you know, is able to cover our entire month's rent for next month, you know, and it's just surreal to like have these kind of opportunities. That, how did you even find us? They're from LA.
Yeah.
You know, they're from LA.
We actually get a lot of people from out of the city.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting.
Especially with like how much I feel kind of creative spaces and things like that. Like, you know, there's so much in LA.
I know.
You know?
That's why I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Because I've seen their listings. I was like, oh, this is a great studio. This is a great studio.
Yeah.
This is pretty cheap. And they make it down here somehow. And I'm like, well, hey.
Like, I mean, our studio is amazing. You
I
know,
love it too.
Everyone that's traveled, you know, from Vegas, from LA, from SD, that's, you know, traveled to our studio and made their way. They've always said, like, you know, our studio's the best that they've been to. So which is just surreal to me, because like it was just out of fresh vision, you know, like God just, you know, like it was a last minute thing, and we just kind of had like the Spirit just kind of led it, you know, and for it to be like not just self-proclaimed, but like multiple people, you know, are like, this is this is better than, you know, not gonna name drop people, but like high influential people, it's better than their studio according to these other people, you know. And even these multi-million-dollar people are like, wow, like you guys did an amazing job, you know. And it's like, man, like I don't know what to say. It's all God.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I'm excited to continue to grow with MK Lab and MK Media now being like a sister company, which it is a digital marketing agency that specifically focuses on growing the brand position of coaches, consultants, and agencies. And so if you're one of those people that need a team behind you, that, you know, you want to really scale on social media, you really want to scale your website, continue to grow your high premium offer, and just deliver so much value to the marketplace, you know, hit up MK Media, hit us up. But yeah. What?
That was pretty long.
I know it was. What about you? What'd you think about MK Media?
You put it in you said this in a good way. It's that it's nothing that we don't already do. Like I'm a graphic and web designer and photographer, right? This is just, it's what I do, right? I don't advertise it. I don't say, hey, this is what I do. Like I'm not trying to sell my services in that way. And you're already a strategist. You already sell and you're a great communicator. And so these are just like part of us that was these skills that we enjoy and we honed in on and built. And at some point of our businesses of Smacking It and the MK Lab studio, we're like, you came in and you said, this is we're going to do this. And this is something we already are doing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, and that's, I guess, I don't remember the rest of how it came about, but
It's just like doing it for others.
yeah, it's just doing it for others.
Yeah, doing it for others instead of ourselves.
Yeah. And it took me a second to understand, like, oh, we're going to do another business, and to really like just get it, I guess. I think because you have more of the vision, I would say, it gets a little like, there's fear in my head sometimes, where I'd be like, I don't
Cast
know.
that out in the name
Cast
of
that
Jesus.
out, right? But there would be fear because I don't know what's on the other side of that success, because I've never experienced it, right? And so there is a huge amount of trust in God and the leadership in my husband to lead our family somewhere that's good for us, right? And me trusting your relationship with Christ, that you're following him, right? So there's a lot of trust that needs to go on, and respect and honor that needs to go on, which my flesh fights it.
Preach it. Preach it. Y'all hearing this? Y'all hearing this? Is my wife right now.
But my flesh fights it because I'm like, oh, I don't know that. It's not right. You know, I only know what I understand, but that's only leaning on my understanding, right? And so, I mean, along our journey of our relationship, I've had that, because it's so different. Success looks so different. And the way my family and the people around me have brought me up is, you know, you're successful if you have a 9-to-5 or a full-time job and you're somewhat getting benefits and you're making money. You're successful. And that is into a lot of people, but there's a lot more growth that could be achieved, you know, and I would say that my family would have more of a survivalist mentality, but I want to have a growth mentality, you know, and it's just a lot different. So it looked different when we started smacking. I'm like, and I was pouring in fear. I was pouring in doubt. Is that your dad? I was pouring in doubt because I didn't know, you know, and even after smacking, even with the lab, when we started changing the concept of it, I was like, I don't know this, you know, this is so foreign to me. No, I don't want to do this. And so I wasn't really giving you the honor or respect of who you are in your character, who you are in Christ, and in your own profession, right? And so I'm like, I'm still feeding that fear and that doubt and getting anxious because and getting angry because I'm not getting my way. And yet it all worked out because now we're getting these opportunities that I can't even deny. I'm like, wasn't from me, right? Because if you were to look at me, I'm like, I wasn't vying for this until I saw the success, right? Just to be transparent. And now I'm sitting back in spirit and I'm just like, God, this is you. And even with this agency, even with our media company, I was like, oh, you know what? Like, you know, a little voice talking to me. I don't know how this is gonna go. But I think I had to take a step back and be like, no, this is gonna go great. Because I've seen it. I know it for a fact. And I can't pay attention to my own doubts, right? I have to just focus on God. And because God is the bigger picture, I'm like, you know what? My hands are up. I already surrendered it all to God on this. So yeah. And having you as my partner and leadership has really helped me grow in that aspect.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thank God, man. Because yeah, you just continue to sow good seeds, you know, and in some seasons, right, you may be called to be the one that just sows the seed, right? Scatters the seed. You have another person that's going to water the seed, and then God's going to reap the harvest for you, right? Like he's going to make it grow. And so um, I realized like taking a step back and not thinking that I have to be both, the sower and the waterer, you know, um, for you, like in certain things. Like sometimes it may come through Caesar or Josie or, Pastor Arthur, right? Someone else, Violet, uh, Jessica, Sean, whoever, um, and just trusting God that at least the good seed was sown, and no matter who's watering it, whether that be me or whether that be someone else, that um, that good seed is sprouting, you know,
Mm.
and so that's what I'm able to kind of see, you know, and take heed to, like knowing that God is going to honor the things that um, the seeds that I've sown and the good seeds that I've sown. And so whether, it actually does produce the fruit or not in this exact season, I know that it's working because
Mm-hmm.
God's working,
Mm-hmm.
and I just have to continue to trust his timing,
Right.
um, in you, in your heart, in your mind, in your hands, um, in all aspects, and
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So yeah, I'm just grateful, that I'm able to really see that alignment, and I think that's what God has been waiting for. It's for this moment, this timing in our life where, we don't necessarily know, like I'm walking blind, walking by faith into this, you're walking by faith into this, and we're just coming at this with, you know, laying it down and all right, God, you do with what you want with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We're just surrendering our gifts and just saying, God, use it, use us,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just grateful, like, to have that type of mentality, have that kind of heart set, that kind of posture coming into it, where I'm able to be focused on it too. Like, this is another topic, right? Like, because I quit sports, and that meant like sports betting and fantasy, right? Like this time in my life is usually the busiest time of my life with sports.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched like 15 minutes of football in total. Like I haven't watched multiple days or anything, right? Like I used to be glued to,
Yeah.
my phone and the couch, placing
That
bets
was
and et
rough.
cetera, et
That was
cetera,
really rough.
and now like God is, opening these doors,
Mm-hmm.
And a good steward of the little, will be faithful with the much, and will be trusted with the much. And so here we are, just being able to have this much,
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for much,
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity for this abundance. And so, yeah, it's been cool. Along with that is the opportunity with like Dizzy, right? And, this
Yeah. I mean, I don't know yet.
we don't necessarily know exactly the details, but just continue to pray over these children within the youth transition camp of San Diego, that whatever is going on, that we would continue to be a light, and that whatever God wants to do through that situation, that the seeds have been sown, and however He wants to go about it, that we go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still praying on that and searching for direction
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of I'm very aware of my own maturity and immaturity. Um, and so with the opportunity to work with youth, which is something that's very dear to me, um, in the arts, I have to sit with God on that because I'm like, I still laugh at stupid things,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I don't know if it's my season to be teaching right now, because I really want to be firm in the sense of just where I'm at in life, and not be swayed or not have emotional outbursts or anything, because I get emotional sometimes, and I don't think that would be like the best, for children who needs more stability than anything. And so I have to really sit and be like, where am I? And be aware of that.
Makes me think of what we're going through with Pastor Arthur right now in Exodus is, Moses at the time didn't know that he had a speech impediment, right? He didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to approach the situation. He even asked, to not go.
Yeah, to
right?
have his brother.
To have his brother go. And so, when you are sent by God, like if you are fully trusting and you're in the Spirit, right? Like God he'll create the speech for you. Like he'll move your lips, he'll move your tongue. He'll move through you. Right. And so, it may be one of those seasons, one of those moments, right? Where you just have to continue to trust God that, like, though you may feel like you're not ready, right? That's could also be the enemy,
right?
Saying that you like imposter syndrome, right? And just saying like you're not ready for this, you're not good enough for this, and you gotta take those thoughts captive and throw it out, and know that if God called you to it, that He's going to bring you through it too, right? And so, just want to encourage you with that, and all of those that may be going through a similar situation, right? There's brothers and sisters. The Bible talks about there's brothers and sisters going through the same season, the same situation, the same circumstance, the same persecution, etc. everywhere, right? And so, I just want to encourage those other brothers and sisters too, that like you may feel, right, that you were not good enough or that you're not qualified, etc. But who is? It's God. God is always, and if God is working through you and you believe that, then He's already equipped you. He's already equipped you. He's already prepared you, and you just have to walk. You just have to follow. And so, yeah, that's it. Anything else, baby?
How are you doing today?
Doing well. Feeling good. Got through some troubleshooting with the music studio equipment that's been causing some headaches ever since like the software updates and stuff, like just little things. We just sent out that invoice for this new client.
Finish the video.
We finished all of the videos for Rise San Diego, the Ilya Awards that are coming up, and sent those over. We got our podcast in, and
I'm happy to do this podcast.
I'm so grateful to do this pod and just be able to be with you, conversing and setting aside time to encourage one another or encourage, someone else or another couple, another marriage. And so, yeah. How about you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling hungry.
Yeah, I'm really hungry. I'm only on 2 cups of coffee.
Really? I'm on 3 sips.
3 sips?
3 sips. My breath stinks.
Thankfully, I'm like all the way over here.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm doing great. I'm excited to work on the other projects that we have coming up. And just for what's to come, because there's a lot.
There's a lot.
But I'm really excited, and I'm happy to do this with you.
Likewise. And it's about gram time. We hop on out of this episode. I'm your host, Christian Graham.
And Stephanie Graham.
And we'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.
Bye.